When the National Veterans Memorial and Museum opened in 2018, it was one of the most anticipated buildings in our country. Wrapped in a series of curving, graceful concrete rings, this building has become an immediate and iconic landmark, both for the city of Columbus and our entire nation.
When we opened in 2018, we were the 20th national museum in the country, designated by Congress. And that didn't happen by accident. Our native son, John Glenn, who was a Marine first and then an astronaut and a senator, he actually lived about a mile from where this museum sits. And it was really his vision to make this a national museum and a national memorial that would tell the story of veterans and their service and sacrifice and that of their families, so that the whole community could be inspired and learn more about the veteran experience.
Now let's talk about the design a little bit, which seems to me like it evolves out of some of these values of service. And I see these heroic arches that really support each other. How does that relate to some of these veteran stories?
Yes, this was not an easy build to build at all. But what you'll see inside is the strength of those stories about service and sacrifice kind of emerge out and make this huge iconic building much larger than it really is.
We heard from Senator Glenn and our veterans community that they wanted a place where they could come and actually share their experiences with their family. And they encouraged us to find a top-notch design team who would understand that. And I'm thrilled that we were able to bring in Allied Works Architecture for the building design, Olin for the landscape design, and we had Ralph Applebaum Associates who handled the exhibits.
What a powerhouse trio. What were some of the design ideas that they brought to the table?
We wanted people, even those who were passing by Columbus, not even coming to the museum, to understand they've arrived somewhere special and sacred. The building really does rise off from the ground, and one of the key design elements is that it's built with 3 concentric circles, but no load-bearing columns. Rings have had a long history with veterans and military. So just like our veterans, symbolically, this building is standing on its own and building strength from within.
That's an incredibly powerful concept.
It's a keystone to the next great neighborhood, the Peninsula, a $1 billion project, and we've even won national and international awards for the design.
Well, I can certainly see why.
It's not often that we're asked to build a building that's also a sculpture and a work of art. The first thing that catches your eye is the concrete. Not only is this concrete being asked to be structural, also the main architectural element, it's curved but with no radii, so a constant changing radius of these compound curved arches. We've built all over the world and we've never found something quite like this. The geometry was really the biggest challenge.
Interesting, and it's really a muscular material, but you have to be so careful when you pour it, right?
Absolutely, yeah. It took us about a year to plan how we were going to pull this off.
All that planning certainly paid off, and it's got a beautiful finish to it.
The vision was a white concrete, but in our climate in Columbus, Ohio, that's really hard to achieve with consistency. So we were able to work with Kime and come up with a sealer that had different capabilities for opacity and how white it was, and we mocked it up a few dozen times and found the combination that made it really beautiful and still kept that rustic quality about the concrete.
What about the rest of the materials that complement the concrete?
Yeah, as we read the spec book, we saw the custom end grain white oak flooring. We developed this radial ceiling together with our partners at the design team. And then of course the glass and aluminum curtain wall. Every piece is unique. Every pane of glass only goes in its one spot. They all complement each other and come together pretty simplistically, but it was tough to achieve.
I bet it's almost like building a Swiss watch.
Yeah, the majority of the project team is local, and it was just such a great opportunity to build this iconic structure for our city. It was just a dream come true, and then most importantly, to have the opportunity to give back to the veterans community in such an important way. It really made all the challenges and sacrifices worth it. Just a great project to be a part of.
Everything in here is designed to tell a story, from the exhibits to the ceiling, to the rooftop here at the museum. In fact, where we are right now up in our Remembrance Gallery, behind me are these campaign ribbons. They look like beautiful stained glass windows, but they also tell a story. Those veterans who served from the Civil War up until now, each of one of these windows represents part of that campaign.
So interesting. It gives a great color, not only to the interior, I'm sure it's a great backdrop for that outdoor event space.
Right. The architects designed the rooftop first and then built what was inside it afterwards.
That looks like a beautiful place to have an event and a ceremony.
Actually, if we were up in the sky right now, you could see that the Memorial Grove and the museum form an infinity symbol, which is meant to symbolize that service to our country was here when we started our nation, and it'll be here long after we're gone.
That is very powerful. This museum and its distinct design pay tribute to veterans of all generations. The stories that are told within, including acts of unbelievable selflessness, are the very qualities and character that form the foundation of our country.